Now that we're able to star and unstar channels, we want those channels to show up in a user's starred component. So we'll head to side panel, and in order to display all the channels that a user starred, we need to have information about the current user. So we'll pass down the current user prop to starred, and then within starred, like we have in other components, we'll create a user property referencing our current user prop that we're passing down, and we'll need the users ref to reach out to our users collection. So we'll import Firebase from a couple of folders up, and the users ref will take the database module and the users ref. So in the component mounts, we want to set up a listener. So we'll execute a function called add listeners that will create. And add listeners will listen on the users ref for any new changes to the starred property. So first we need to select a child on it according to the user's UID. So within component.mount we can set up a conditional to make sure that first we have a value in state for our current user. And once we do, we can pass down their UID, and we'll receive that in our add listeners function as user ID. So now we can select a child with the user ID and their starred property. And first we want to listen for when a user stars a new channel. So we'll listen for the child added event, and in the snap callback we'll create a variable called starred channel where we'll assemble an object, a new object with an ID property set to snap.key, and then spread the rest of the values with the spread operator. We'll spread all of snap.value to get the rest of the properties for a given channel's information. And then we're going to set the state. We're going to update the starred channels array by creating a new array where we take all the previous values of starred channels and once again spread them in to the array with the spread operator and add this new starred channel object at the very end. And we also want to listen for when a channel is unstarred. So we'll take the user's ref again and select user ID as a child and starred as a child, and we'll listen for the child removed event. So here we want to remove some channel information that was previously in our starred channels array. So once again we'll create an object and we'll assign it to a variable called channel to remove. Once again it'll have the ID of snap.key, and we'll spread the rest of the values for that channel into the new object. We'll create a variable called filtered channels, and we're going to take the starred channels array, use the filter method on it to make sure this new array doesn't have an element that has an ID property equal to the ID of the channel to remove object. And finally we want to update the starred channels array in state to the filtered channels array that we just created. Now we'll save all of our files, head back to our app, and now you can see in our starred area we have both of the channels that we've starred, React and JavaScript, so we can click on them and navigate to the channel and also unstar them, and as we unstar them you'll see that they're immediately removed from the starred component. We can add them back by favoriting them once again.